Hey guys, how's it going? Cypher here, and today we need to talk about something that sounds reasonable on the surface, but has some very serious implications once you dig even slightly deeper. The UK government has just announced new powers under the Online Safety Act aimed at stopping people from receiving unsolicited nude images online. And before anyone twists this, let me be very clear from the start. No one is defending people sending unsolicited nudes. No one is defending harassment, and no one is saying this isn't a real issue. But what is happening here could be the next major step towards something far more dangerous: client-side scanning. A phone that checks what you send, a laptop that analyzes what you type, a device that inspects your private content before it ever leaves your hands. And once that infrastructure exists, there is no undo button. Before we continue, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. It genuinely helps push this message further and get more people aware of what's going on. What the government is pushing. According to the government's own press release, they want to place stronger legal obligations on tech companies to prevent people from receiving unsolicited, naughty images. They say platforms must detect and block these images, stop them being sent in the first place, proactively protect users. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. Who wouldn't want fewer people being harassed online? But here's the question they don't really answer. How do you stop an image from being sent unless you inspect it first? And that's where the conversation changes. Because to do that, you don't scan the message on a server. You scan it on the device. What client-side scanning actually is. Client-side scanning means your own device, your phone, tablet, or laptop, scans messages, images, or files before they are encrypted and sent. Not after, not with a warrant, not because you're suspected of anything, by default. That means images you send are analyzed locally. Messages are checked before encryption. Content can be flagged, blocked, or logged, all without you being notified. And here's the key point. End-to-end encryption does not protect you if the system reads your content first. Encryption becomes theater. The privacy promise is broken at the source. The pattern people are ignoring. Now here's where things get really suspicious, and this part matters, because this isn't happening on just one platform. Almost every major tech ecosystem is now rolling out some form of on-device analysis at the same time, across companies that normally compete. Let's go through it. Apple, iPhone, iPad, Mac OS. Apple has already attempted client-side scanning in the past, claiming it was for child safety. The backlash was so intense, they paused it. But Apple never abandoned the concept. They just changed the framing. Today, Apple devices already perform on-device image analysis, content classification, local AI scanning, all on the device. Apple insists this is privacy-preserving, but the mechanism exists, the capability exists, and once a system exists, policy, not technology, determines how it's used. Android. Google. Android devices already scan images, messages, links for harmful content, spam, and safety, again, on device. Google frames this as protection, but the same scanning pipeline could be used for anything the policy defines as unacceptable. Microsoft, Windows Recall. Then there's Windows Recall on Windows 11 devices. This one is massive. Windows Recall continuously screenshots your screen, indexes it, and makes it searchable. Everything you type, everything you view, everything you do. Microsoft says it's local, but it's still continuous client-side monitoring, a system that knows your entire digital life. And once again, the capability exists. Mac OS, iOS, iPadOS, same direction. Across Apple, Google, and Microsoft, we're seeing local content analysis, on-device classification, AI systems inspecting user activity, all rolling out in parallel. Now ask yourself this: What are the odds that every major platform independently decided to do this at the same time, unless external pressure exists? Tech companies don't align like this by accident, especially not on something this controversial. Intelligence agencies and lawful access. Here's where history matters. Intelligence agencies have openly complained for years about encryption. They call it going dark. They've tried encryption backdoors, key escrow, mandatory decryption laws, and they failed publicly. So the strategy shifted. Instead of breaking encryption, move the surveillance to the device itself. Because if the device inspects content before encryption, the encryption becomes irrelevant, and governments don't need to break it anymore. Edward Snowden. Why this pattern matters. For anyone unfamiliar, Edward Snowden was a whistleblower. He worked as a contractor for the U.S. National Security Agency, the NSA. In 2013, he exposed classified documents proving governments were mass surveilling entire populations. Not criminals, not suspects, everyone. He revealed programs like PRISM, direct access to data from major tech companies, emails, chats, photos, files, under secret legal authorities. XKeyscore, a system that let analysts search emails, messages, browsing history, and online activity, often without prior approval. The internet became a searchable database of human behavior. Tempora, run by GCHQ in the UK. This involved tapping undersea internet cables and copying massive amounts of traffic, emails, messages, calls, first, filtering later. This is bulk surveillance. Others include upstream collection, intercepting internet traffic itself, the muscular surveillance program, tapping data links between Google and Yahoo, the boundless informant tool. Boundless Informant is a big data analysis and visualization tool used by the U.S. National Security Agency, NSA, to map its global surveillance activities. It focuses on counting and categorizing metadata, such as telephone and internet connection records, rather than the actual content of communications. What happened to Snowden? Snowden didn't sell secrets. He didn't spy. He exposed wrongdoing in the public interest, and his life was destroyed. He was charged under the U.S. Espionage Act, a law that doesn't allow a public interest defense. If he returns to the U.S., he faces decades in prison. His passport was revoked. He was stranded mid-flight, and he ended up trapped in Russia, not by choice, but because his own government gave him no safe alternative. The people who lied faced no consequences. The whistleblower lost his country. That's the pattern. Why you should be skeptical now. So when governments and tech companies say, "Don't worry, this won't be abused. This isn't mass surveillance. This won't undermine encryption," remember this. They said the same things before. And the truth only came out because someone risked everything. Yes, stopping unsolicited nudes is good. Let's be clear. People shouldn't be forced to receive naughty images they didn't ask for. Platforms should offer protection. But that does not justify turning everyone's device into a government spying tool. A less invasive alternative. Here's a better approach. Flip the model. Instead of scanning the sender, let the receiver opt in. Incoming images are blurred. The receiver chooses protection. Scanning happens only to display content. Nothing is reported. Nothing is logged. Consent-based protection, not mass inspection. Final thought. Stopping harassment is a good goal, but how you stop it matters. Because once you normalize the idea that your device must inspect your private content for the greater good, you cross a line free societies don't come back from. Encryption only works if it's real. Privacy only exists if it's default. And freedom doesn't survive when surveillance is built into the tools we carry everywhere. So yes, I'm against unsolicited nudes, but I'm far more against a future where your phone quietly watches you on behalf of the state. I'll leave it there today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Because if we don't question this now, we'll be told later that it's already too late. Until next time, Cypher out.